Pure domination happens here today at Dover National Speedway as Hendrick Motorsports dominates and a familiar number takes the victory here at Dover International Speedway. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching the Dryden 400 from Dover National Speedway, the 13th race of the NASCAR Cup Series, and the race will take us halfway through the NASCAR regular season. Let's go ahead and just jump straight to it. So there's a couple storylines that happened coming into this race. First, Josh Berry was filling in for Justin Haley, who was out of this race due to COVID-19 protocols, and then a couple drivers actually would have to go to the rear along with Josh Berry, those including Chase Elliott for failing inspection twice, and Ryan Newman, who had unapproved adjustments. So let's go ahead and just jump straight into the race. So starting off, Mark Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin would start on the front of this race, and Mark Truex Jr. would get the jump early in the race, and then Kyle Larson able to get around for second. We then go wild, and then William Byron actually would get up to second, and then the first pass for the lead actually happened on lap 16 for William Byron when he passed Mark Truex Jr. for the lead on lap 16 while they were getting through lap traffic, because they were passing lap traffic really quickly for the race. The first really interesting thing that happened around lap 26 of the race ended up happening was Kyle Busch started having a potential engine issue. What ended up happening was he had a plug wire loose. Now we have practice qualifying in this race. Kyle Busch would not have had this issue, but he would stay on the racetrack, but there was a chance it could have blown up, but with the plug wire issue, they were able to fix that. We would then keep racing, and then the first caution in this race come out lap 37 for the competition caution, of course. Corey LaJoie, of course, would end up getting the free pass, with actually the race leader at the time being William Byron. And then they would come down pit road, and coming off pit road, Kyle Larson would end up actually having the race lead, followed by William Byron. Mark Truex Jr., who was fourth on pit road coming in, would actually end up losing a lot of spots and fall back left as a Ludnut got stuck in a jack, and a couple of guys, of course, end up having speed and penalties. Those, of course, being Tyler Reddick, Michael McDowell, and Corey LaJoie. We go back racing in lap 41 of this race, and Kyle Larson is actually able to get the race lead and was able to actually end up holding on to the race lead. And then on lap 70, of course, Corey LaJoie would end up coming out pit road for a flat tire, which would take him out of contention. So he really wasn't going to be a contention since he was a Spire Motorsports car, but this would take him out of contention. Meanwhile, Chase Elliott, who was started back in last position, he had driven his way all the way up to 7th, around 1/5 of the way into this race. And then Denny Hamlin started making his charge. He got up to third around lap 116. And then on the final lap of stage 1 of this race, Kyle Larson had a huge, I think, like a 7-second lead. And on the last lap, of course, Chase Briscoe was probably going to get the free pass anyways. He would actually end up basically getting into the outside wall and taking him out of contention in this race. And coming off the corner under that caution, Kyle Larson would come off the corner and win stage 1 of this race. We then go back racing on lap 1, number 30, race west. Of course, Mark Truex Jr. during that caution as well. He would actually end up coming down pit road to work on the damage on the car, had the hood up on the car, and would come down pit road. Kyle Larson would lead us back to green on lap 130, and he would pretty much start basically would pretty much hold on to the lead. Meanwhile, about 10 laps later, they basically said that Kyle Busch had fixed the engine issue that had been going on for him. A few laps later, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. ended up coming down pit road to fix a vibration. He was running around 15th or 16th, was running pretty solid all race long, and he unfortunately had to come down pit road to fix a vibration in this. And then the next cautious race would come out on lap 171 for Josh Berry getting into the outside wall. Josh Berry, of course, substituting for Justin Haley. Josh Berry would get into the outside wall, bringing out the caution this race, and then Ryan Blaney, who had damage from, I think, a pit road, if I'm not mistaken, or some contact on the racetrack, will come down pit road with the flat tire, and this would unfortunately take him out of, well, it wouldn't take him out of tension completely, but would hurt his chances throughout this race. We then go back racing on lap 177 this race, so Kyle Larson pretty much being able to take the race lead. And then there was a really wild and crazy moment that happened 20 laps in a run with about halfway through this race. Brad Keselowski and Joey Logano were battling for the 8th position, and Keselowski got sideways off the corner and almost took Logano out of him, which is almost really crazy. Both of them saved it. Great saves for both of them overall. And then, by about lap 204, the thing that became the theme of the day, Hendrick Motorsports was able to get up to 1 through 4, and they were the front 4 of this race. And then coming off the final corner, Kyle Larson would end up winning stage 2 in pretty dominating fashion here at Dover International Speedway, with Chase Elliott about a second back. Chase Elliott's car looked pretty strong in stage number 2, but he really would not have a shot to contend for the victory. They would come down pit road, and of course, coming off pit road, Kyle Larson would win the race off pit road, and he would dominate the next portion of this race. And then on lap 302, with about 100 laps to go, is where the moment the lead would end unfortunately changing. Eric Almirola would unfortunately get into the outside wall really, really hard, which is really unfortunate because Eric Almirola was having a very solid day, running 13th at the time. He would get into the outside wall extremely hard, and unfortunately, he would fall out of this race. This is 50 DNF so far, I believe, of the 2021 season, and this one hurt. I feel bad for Eric Almirola because Eric Almirola was having a very, very strong day, especially all the SHR cars besides Chase Briscoe were running in the top 20, and unfortunately, his day would unfortunately go up in smoke, and his chance of winning would be over. We then come down pit road, and in the pass on pit road, what unfortunately happened, Alex Bowman just had a better pit stop than Kyle Larson, and he would end up coming off at pit road and taking the race lead. We then go back racing for a little bit, and then the next caution race will come out around 87 laps to go in this race for Anthony Alfredo. Anthony Alfredo will come off of turn number 2, off some contact with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. In my opinion, that was intentional. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. would get into him, and that would bring out the caution of this race. And then a lot of the mid-packs cars, of course, decided to come out pit road. Guys like Denny Hamlin, Kurt Busch, Ryan Newman, and even Joey Logano all came down pit road. And then we go back racing for us. Also, and be able to get the advantage with Kyle Larson. Looked like he was going to have a shot to pass him, but there's really nothing he could do. And then the final caution race come out with 75 laps to go for debris on the front stretch. Again, a lot of people were not happy about that, but it was a legitimate debris caution compared to some of the other cautions they've had. That would be the final caution of this race. And then we go back racing on lap 331 of this race, and we come off basically the final corner, and Alex Bowman was able to get the race lead. It was basically in the beginning where it looked like it was going to be a cat and mouse game to see if Kyle Larson and Alex Bowman were going to basically have a shot to battle for the lead. Meanwhile, it looked like rain was potentially going to come in, which that was one thing that had a bit of concern a couple days before, that rain might be able to come in, but rain would not, unfortunately, impact it. And Alex Bowman was just able to get through the lap traffic way better. And coming off the final corner, Alex Bowman in the number 48 car comes out the final corner in familiar colors and comes out the final corner and wins his second race here in 2021. Now, talking about this, Hendrick Motorsports 1 through 4 finish today with Alex Bowman winning. He becomes the second driver to win 2 races here, multiple races in 2021. Very surprisingly, because Kyle Larson dominated this race, but Alex Bowman had a better pit stop and got by Kyle Larson. At the end of the day, he was able to come off the corner and win the race. Larson's car also kind of fell off at the end of the run, but there's nothing negative I can say about this as a Kyle Larson fan. Man, I want Kyle Larson to win more races because he honestly deserves more wins. He probably should have 4 or 5 wins by this point of this year. More wins are coming, though, and hey, I've got nothing negative to say about this because Hendrick Motorsports is dominating right now. They got 1 through 4 finish. This, by the way, is only the 4th time in NASCAR history that an organization has gone 1 through 4, and only the first time since 2005 at Homestead when Roush Racing finished 1 through 4. So I had nothing negative to say about this race. Alex Bowman, at this point, just signed a contract. Time to re-sign him. He's got multiple wins now in 2021. I think it's perfectly time to re-sign a contract for Alex Bowman because he deserves to come back to Hendrick Motorsports next year, and he gets his second win in 2021. I got nothing negative to say. Alex Bowman is your winner here today at the Dover National Speedway. So let's go ahead and go through the race results of this race here at Dover International Speedway. Alex Bowman wins here at Dover National Speedway. Kyle Larson, who arguably had the dominant car most of the day and probably the best car majority of the run, wasn't able to close that deal. But another runner-up finish here is the second straight runner-up finish here. And I think Kyle Larson, a lot of people should still be fearing. I think he's still going to win more races this year. He's been really, really strong so far this year in 2021. I think more runs are coming. Good runs are coming for Larson. I think more wins we'll have for Larson. It's going to happen here sooner or later. Chase Elliott with the third place run. I think the best run Chase Elliott has had so far this year, besides maybe Daytona Road Course, I think the best run he's had all year. I think Chase Elliott is really starting to come into it. I think that he's starting to get it together. He's been kind of quiet most of the year for a guy who won a championship last year, but I think he's really going to start coming his own, and he gets a third place finish today. William Byron finished his 4th. They had brake fade in the race. They were really strong early, but kind of fell back a little bit, but then bounced back, ended up finishing 4th. Another top 10 for William Byron. This is 11 straight top 10. And I think like his 3rd or 4th straight top 5, so really strong run today for William Byron. Joey Logano finished 5th. The pit strategy they ended up doing on the final caution really helped him. He got a top 5 today. Solid ending for Logano despite not running really well. Gets top 5 today. Great run for him. Kevin Harvick finished at 6th. A solid run today for Kevin Harvick. He was really one of the only guys who really could contend with all the Hendrick Motorsports cars today. He gets 6th place run. Great run for Kevin Harvick today. Denny Hamlin finished at 7th. Denny Hamlin had a solid run today. Good run for him. Tyler Reddick with a top 10, finishing 8th in today's race. Solid run for Tyler Reddick today. I think he's starting to really make a run for these playoffs. Great run today for Tyler Reddick. Daniel Suarez gets another top 10. You'll love to see it. Daniel Suarez, man, Trackhouse Racing, they really were my underdog pick coming in because I thought that there was a chance that Trackhouse Racing was going to show up with a lot of speed. And I was right. 9th place run for Daniel Suarez. Great run for him today. Cole Custer finishes 10th. Great run for Cole Custer today. I think this is his second top 10 of the year so far, and at least gets 2 SHR cars in the top 10, all things considered. A top 10 run for Cole Custer today. Bubba Wallace, first top 15 of the year in 11th place. In my opinion, even though the strategy kind of helped him out, they're running a top 15 a lot of day. Great run. Hopefully they can build some momentum off this. They almost got a top 10. I think a top 10 is going to come for that organization very, very soon. I think they've been really good with the 750 horsepower package races. Not expecting too much coming up at the Circuit of the Americas. They're not great at road courses. But man, I'm so happy to see the Bubba Wallace having a really good run. And there's been so many times where they can't close these deals out, but they end up finishing 11th in today's race. Ryan Blaney finishes 12th today. Kurt Busch finished 13th. Kind of stops the bleeding, to be honest with you. He ran the top 10 quite a bit of this race today, but unfortunately didn't really have a shot to get 10. He was in the top 5, as a matter of fact, a lot of the race today as well, but ends up finishing 13th. Kind of stops the bleeding, to be honest with you, because Kurt Busch is really, really falling back in points. Gets top 15, hoping he builds momentum going forward for the rest of the year. Austin Dillon with the 14th place run, not a bad run. Ross Chastain with another top 15th place. Great run for Ross Chastain. Brad Keselowski finished the 16th, 17th place for Chris Buescher. Chris Buescher actually ran in the top 10 quite a bit of this race for basically most of the first half of the race. He ran in the top 10 here, but his car kind of fell off in the second half run, but he still gets a solid top 20 run in today's race. Ryan Preece with a solid top 20. Great run for Ryan Preece today. Martin Truex Jr., who was my winning pick coming in, absolutely sucked in today's race. I don't know what's going on with Martin Truex Jr., but his car was absolutely terrible. The JGR cars, man, were absolutely off, maybe besides Denny Hamlin. JGR cars absolutely sucked today. He finished 19th, though. I mean, the best you can do with what you got, but 19th is not a great run for Martin Truex Jr., as he was my pick to win. And Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finishes 20th in today's race. Christopher Bell finishes 21st. I'll be honest, I expected Christopher Bell to run a little bit better than he did today, considering he's had quite a bit of success here in the Xfinity Series. I expected Bell to run a little bit better than he did. He finished 21st in today's race. Eric Jones finished 22nd. 23rd place finish for Ryan Newman. 24th for Matty D. Matty D, man, absolutely struggled in today's race. I thought Matty D was going to at least get 10 for top 15. Didn't really even do that. The car is absolutely horrible. Hopefully they can turn this luck around that they've been having recently. Michael McDowell finished 25th. Corey LaJoie finished 26th. Kyle Busch, despite having engine issues and a plug wire come loose, they end up finishing 27th. That is a nice comeback, all things considered. Finishing 7 or 8 laps down. Still finishes 27th, despite all things considered. He finished 27th today's race. Not a bad comeback for Kyle Busch. Anthony Alfredo finished 28th, 29th for Quinn Houff, 30th place finish for Josh Berry in his worst ever career race. Hey, there's really nothing you can do. It's not a great Spire car, to be honest with you. He finished 30th in today's race. Cody Ware finishes 31st, 32nd place for Garrett Smithley, 33rd place finish for James Davison, 34th place finish for Josh Blickey, 35th place finish for Chase Briscoe, 36th for BJ McLeod, and finishing last in today's race is going to be Eric Almirola. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the playoff standings right now, the regular point standings coming in this race. So Denny Hamlin currently holds the points lead as of right now. I think Denny Hamlin actually still is the points leader, if I'm not mistaken. Martin Truex Jr., I believe, sits second in the points right now. There are definitely some people kind of closer to that cutoff right now. I mean, the playoffs are definitely getting really interesting at the moment because it's going to start getting really closer as the farther we get down in the playoff grid. Farthest we here we go. Here's the playoffs. So currently Denny Hamlin sits in the points lead. Actually, William Byron is now second in the points, 101 points back. His consistency is definitely really coming into play. Martin Truex Jr. sits third, 102 back. Joey Logano sits fourth, 132 back. Kyle Larson moves up to fifth after a strong run with 134 back and 2 great, really strong runs recently. Ryan Blaney sits in 6th, 136 back. Chase Elliott 6 and 7 points, 142 back. Kevin Harvick's 8th, 147 back. Brad Keselowski is 9th, 170 back. Kyle Busch is 7th in points, 191 back. Austin Dillon is 11th. Christopher Bell is 12th. 13th is Alex Bowman with his win today, moves up to 13th. Chris Buescher is 14th. 15th is Tyler Reddick. And Michael McDowell 16th in the points as of right now. Matty D sits currently 17 in points, 9 points behind Michael McDowell. Kurt Busch sits 18th in points, 22 points behind Michael McDowell. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. currently sits 24 points behind Michael McDowell. And then Ryan Newman currently sits 20th in the points today. Right now for him, 30 points behind him. So now let's go ahead and talk about the race overall. You know, for a race that was really dominated by one organization, honestly wasn't a bad race, to be honest with you. It wasn't a great race, to be honest with you, but it wasn't a bad race, to be honest with you. Like I said in the past, I think I said this last week at Darlington, you're going to have typical NASCAR races, and Dover is one of those tracks that racing generally isn't that great, to be honest with you, and I kind of feel like this was kind of a classic Dover race. Not a great race overall, but just a solid race overall, and pure domination by Hendrick Motorsports today. I am going to give today's race here at Dover National Speedway a 6 out of 10. Again, I know it's kind of a lower score race, to be honest with you, for Dover, but it's kind of the essentials of Dover National Speedway. I would say it's probably one of the lower tier races so far to this year. I'd actually put this probably as the second, actually probably as the third worst race so far of the year, which isn't really bad, to be honest with you, especially from domination. I've got nothing bad to say about it, but I would give today's score at Dover National Speedway a 6 out of 10. So, anyway, that is going to be it for today's race review here at Dover International Speedway. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe to the channel, turn notifications so you be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support my page as well. Links description below for that, and comment your thoughts on today's video. What are your thoughts about today's race here at Dover National Speedway? Let me know in the comments below. And congratulate Alex Bowman on winning his second race of the 2021 season. Anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video. And I'll see you guys next time for some more great and awesome NASCAR content. Take care, everybody.